Welcome everybody to the ESRN presentation of the National Auto Racing Club 360 All-Stars. My name is Thomas Brandon and we are here at the Limaland Motorsports Park for tonight's NARC event. With me tonight in the booth is defending All-Star Series champion Justin Sherman. Justin, what do you think is going to be the key for these guys tonight to find success here at this track?
What's interesting is the knowledge from racing translates really well into trucking. When you're going downhill, super high speed, I mean, it's all the same stuff. It's what's the line, where do I slow, where I'm looking with my eyes. It's all the same stuff. It's not much better than sensor than most of my time.
Yes, most definitely. They're going to be fighting for positions. This is a high-banked bull ring quarter mile, very much like our hometown track here, Silver Dollar Speedway. So it should be exciting. It definitely should be fast. And looking forward to tonight's action as it looks like the cars are getting ready to hit the track here for hot laps. Oh, sorry about that. Having a little technical difficulties. Yeah, you were saying qualifying. Qualifying is going to be super important tonight. Anytime we're at these smaller tracks, it's always absolutely critical that you start up front. You don't want to find yourself in the back having to work your way up through the field, especially on a track like this where we know the cushion can be just so dominant. All right, and our qualifying is now underway as it looks like we've got Jeremy Weigel, who just finished up his qualifying lap there on the track, and as of right now, he looks to be second quick so far. But obviously, we got a lot more people here bringing it in. And it looks like Brandon Surratt right now on top of the board for qualifying here. And it looks like Surratt will be overtaken by Jared Culbertson. So Culbertson right now with quick time with an 11.111. That's a lot of ones. Hopefully, maybe a little bit of a good luck sign for him tonight. And it looks like Surratt will be over. All right, and that was our last qualifier there, Harvey, who got in his lap time. So it looks like we are all set. So Jared Culbertson with a quick time of 11.11, followed by Brandon Surratt, Joe Howe, Christian McCartney, and Timothy Alton, rounding out your top 5 qualifiers. So 30 cars tonight. We should see, probably 3 heat races, I believe. And then we'll be taking top 4 out of each of those heats for the feature. So definitely going to have a lot of action, few heat races, and consolation, maybe 2. So we'll see what happens. All right, as it looks like we've got our first heat race on the grid as Jared Culbertson will start on the pole, and outside of Culbertson is Timothy Alton. In row number 2 on the inside, we've got Connor Dudek, and outside of him is Robert Boggs.
Inside of row 3, we have Brandon Voiles starting 5th, and on his outside, we have Cale Heibel. The 4th row inside, we have Jordan Etter, and on his outside, we have Alan Durunko.
All right, so 8 cars, top 4 will be going straight to the feature for tonight's A main event. And it will be Culbertson, Alton, leading us down here to the green.
Looks like a super tacky track, so maybe minimal passing, but we'll see what all these guys can do. They'll have to make some moves real fast.
Yes, they're definitely going to have to make some moves real fast, and that's why the initial start is going to be so critical, because when a track is this tacky, like you said, it's extremely hard to get around people.
Yep, only top 4 transfer, so if you're not in that transfer, you got to make moves fast and make right decisions.
All right, we are under green as Culbertson jumps out to a quick lead over Alton and Dudek.
Culbertson running that inside line. Everybody else kind of sticking to that outside line, a little below the cushion.
which doesn't seem to be a bad move right now. Like you said, the track is still pretty tacky. No reason to take the long way around if you can find speed through the middle. And it looks like he goes up to the top, and Alden's looking to make a move on the inside, but Culbertson's going to get back by around him.
Yeah, it's super tough to pass right now. It looks like it's going to be the fast line for now, unless Alden is pretty good on that line. So if he can get on his bumper and maybe just throw a haymaker, he might be good. But at the same time, he's also in a transfer spot, so he's got to think, is it even worth it? He's in a good position for the A feature in second.
Yeah, exactly. You don't want to take an unnecessary risk, especially when you said you're already in a transfer spot, in a good transfer spot in second place. Oh, and there's a car who gets loose and goes across track there as Robert Boggs hit the wall, and he is going to be done in this heat race.
They were fighting for that transfer. I'm not sure exactly what happened, but that'll land Boggs' heat race. He'll have to go for the consies. It's a tough break for him, but
yeah, tough break for Boggs. Definitely does not want to be in that position a night at a track like this, but we'll see him back later on in the consolation. As back up front, it is all Jared Culbertson, followed closely by Alton, Dudek, and Boyles, your top four right now. Oh, and Dudek gets loose off the corner there.
Ooh, Culbertson got a little intimate with the wall. He's not going to want to do that because now Timothy is right behind him.
Oh, and Alden gets Culbertson at the line, and so it's going to be Timothy Alden picking up the win with the last corner pass here in heat race number 1, and that'll put him on the pole for tonight's 30-lap A main event. Talk about picking your spots, man. He waited and made his move, and it paid off.
Yep. Do that because now Timothy is right behind him.
Oh, and Alden gets Culbertson at the line. All right, so heat race number 2 is now gritting up here on the track, and on the pole we've got Brandon Surratt, and to his outside is Jeremy Weigel. On the inside of row number 2 we have Mace Germain, and outside of Germain is Anthony Woodall.
Side of row 3 we got Josh Berkey, and on his outside we got Jeffrey Stewart. In row 4 on the inside, Jason Butterfield. On his outside is Aiden Spike Harvey.
All right, so heat race number 2, 10 laps, top 4 go straight to the A main event. So we saw very minimal passing in that last heat race until the last turn of the last lap. We'll have to see if it picks up here. Track's starting to slick off on the entries there in turns 1 and 3. So definitely start to see some guys try different lines before the track gets pushed up just up right on that cushion.
We are green.
We are underway.
Most of these drivers will probably be looking to the outside if they're watching that heat race. That's where those leaders were running. So a little bit of slick starting to form, but nothing these drivers can't handle.
No, for the most part, it's still really tacky. As you can see, Surratt and Weigel there both on the top, as Germain in third place kind of running a slider line as he gets into the wall there coming out of turn number 2.
Yeah, he keeps doing that. Stewart and Spike Harvey are going to catch up to him real fast. He's got to just remember he's in a transfer spot, so he doesn't want to do anything too stupid. Oh,
absolutely.
looks
and
like two cars
contact in the
get
back
together.
there. There's some chaos as we lost. It looked like Stewart and Butterfield, so that's going to put Berkey now, it looks like, up there. Hayden Spike Harvey is now third, followed by Josh Berkey in that fourth and final transfer spot. So tough break for Jermaine. He was in the transfer spot and some contact, and led to us losing half the field here in heat race number 2. So it's Surratt, Weigel, Harvey, and Berkey.
And all these guys transfer, so all they're really doing is just cruising, and they got nothing to worry about. Even if they crash, they'll be all right. So, but I don't think that's what they want to do. They want to get as many laps as they can, so they can be most prepared for this feature race.
That's
Surratt's
exactly
just
right.
having
They
a
won't
field
see
day
it
out
again.
here. Still a tacky track though, so hopefully this racetrack will start widening out by heat race 3 or 4. I'm sure the C main, B main will have some really good racing.
Yeah, I'm sure it will. And the problem for these guys when they're in these early heat races is the track changes so much from the time that they've been on it that it's a completely different track by the time they make it back onto the surface for the A main event.
Yeah, that's gonna give them some trouble with the setups, and it's gonna be more so of a gamble. But if they know what they're doing, they can make the right choices and hopefully be comfortable. They're comfortable for their race.
Absolutely. All right. So we now have heat race number 3 gridding up here on the track, and on the pole we've got Joe Howe, and outside of Howe is David Flick. On the inside of row number 2 is Ryan Washock, and outside of Washock is Sleepy Grandpa Brandon Garvin.
And on the inside of row 3, you have Jake Sonnentag, and on his outside we have Brent Hagen. Inside of row 4, we have Kevin Grettenberger, and on his outside, Brian Johnson.
All right. So heat race number 3, 8 cars, 10 laps, top 4 go to the A main event, and it's going to be Howe and Flick leading us to the green flag next time by.
If last week's winner, Ryan Washock in the 3rd spot, so he'll be one to look out for in this heat race.
And we are under green as Howe jumps out to the lead over Flick, and Washock makes a move to the inside there, trying to get that second place spot from Flick as we head into turn 3, as they are 3 wide through 3 and 4.
Ryan makes that pass. Now he's just on the move to get Joe. We'll see what he can do. Looks like he's gaining him a little bit, so might have a nice battle here for the first place spot in the heat race.
Yeah, Washock's got tracks that he is definitely fast at, and Limaland is one of them. He's been good here in the past. This was one of the racetracks that me and him had actually battled at a few seasons ago, and he seemed to do really good at these tracks where the cushion forms and he can just get up there and rip.
Yep.
And Howe gets
Joe
into the
makes
wall,
a mistake.
and that opens the door for Washock, and he almost collects Sonnentag and Garmin.
Ooh.
Heck of
Saves
a
it,
save
though.
on his part.
But he's got some work to do if he wants to transfer.
Absolutely, as now Washock is checking out on the rest of the field as Sonnentag, Garmin, and Grettenberger are all battling right there for that 2nd, 3rd, and 4th place positions.
Yeah, they're all choosing that a low to midline, so it looks like it's fairly even. Looks like maybe Jake might be catching up to Ryan, but I don't know, the top still looks real fast.
Yes, it does. I just don't know if there's enough of a drive for Jake to get him there off the corner. Ryan just got so much momentum coming off that corner. Jake's going for it. He's getting the run on the entry. If he can just get a little bit more drive coming off the corner, he might be able to challenge Washock, as those two battling has now let Garmin close up on him as they are coming 3 wide here, and it looks like Sonnentag's gonna get him at the line. So just like we saw Alton in heat race number 1, Jake Sonnentag with the last lap pass for the win here in heat race number 3. All right, so it looks like our 4th and final heat race is now gridding up here on the track, and on the pole for this heat race we have got Christian McCartney, and outside of McCartney is Philip Crowich. On the inside of row number 3 is Kurt Ney, and outside of Ney we've got Bruce the Boss Klingon.
On the inside of row 3, you got Brady King. On his outside, we got the Turf Jesus, Grassman, whatever you want to name him, Greg Keppel. And on the 4th row, all by himself, Al Denton.
All right, so 4th and final heat race. Last chance for these guys to get a transfer to straight to the A main event.
Two guys to look out for in this heat race. You got Philip Kroesch. He was really fast in the A main last week. Just got himself in an unfortunate situation. And obviously Bruce Clean. He's always real fast here. So we're looking forward to see what he can do.
Absolutely. This is one of Bruce's favorite tracks. He does good here in pretty much any car he runs, whether it's got a wing on it or no wing. He does a good job, so we'll see if he can make a move and get up front in this heat race as we are underway. And McCartney jumps out to a quick lead.
Yeah, these guys are probably going to stick to the middle, watching what Jake did in that last heat race. Proved him very well, so we'll probably see a lot of these drivers choose that, just the lane, just right below the slick and right in the middle in 3 or 4.
Yeah, which is actually a good thing. That'll help widen out the track and make it a little bit more racy for the upcoming consolations and feature.
Yeah, and it'll build that cushion up top, so you're not really having to ride the wall. Give something to lean on, and make it for a fun racetrack and a racy racetrack.
Yeah, definitely.
Carney looking real comfortable. He's got a nice gap, as well as Kroesch. Seems pretty even. Have a nice battle for the fourth and for the third spot between I believe that's Kurt Ney and Bruce Klingen. Both in transfer spots, so I can't imagine they'll race too hard, but a spot's a spot.
Absolutely. As Klingen goes for the slider on Ney there, as these two are battling, that's giving Brady King the opportunity to move up and challenge for that fourth and final transfer spot as Klingen makes the pass on Ney, and now Ney is going to feel the heat from Brady King right behind him.
Hey, Brady's getting pretty good runs in 3 and 4. He's just got to hopefully get the drive off the corner. It's looking a little too tough.
Yeah, it is.
Too low, you
Ney's
just don't get the
definitely got
drive.
a good line there, yeah.
So all Ney's got to do is just keep being smooth, and he might be all right.
But back up front, it is all Christian McCartney as he brings home the win by a 1.5 seconds over the second place car of Philip Kroesch here in heat race number 4. So we've got McCartney, Kroesch, Klingen, and Ney will get that fourth and final transfer spot here in heat race number 4. So that'll do it for the heat races, and now we will bring out our C main event. And we have got on our grid here, on the pole, Greg Keppel, and outside of Keppel is Alan Doronko. On the inside of row number 2 is Jason Butterfield, and outside of Butterfield is David Flick.
And on the inside of row 3, we have Al Denton. On his outside, you have Robert Boggs. And 7th, all by himself, is Brian Johnson.
All right, so C main event, 8 laps. And I believe it's top 4 to the B main.
It is top 5.
Top
5 to the B
I
main.
can't remember if I changed it or not, and apparently I did. So top 5 from the C main will go to the B main.
It looks like Johnson didn't grid, so looks like just one is going home. And that'll be very unfortunate for that single person.
Well, it should definitely be a battle in the last row here for this final transfer spot. Denton, Boggs, Flick, and Butterfield will all be wanting to make sure that they can lock up that 5th and final transfer spot as the pace truck is off and we are under green, and Keppel jumps out to a quick lead over Doronko, followed by Butterfield, Flick, and Denton.
And Keppel just goes right to the marbles, and he's doing a really good job. I think that cut down line for 1 and 2, because that wall comes in so close, it'll be probably a very common line people run just so you don't hit the wall, and it's probably faster anyway.
Absolutely, especially right now. Especially right
Yeah.
now after those guys have been running the middle, they've been throwing up marbles, and so you got a lot of grip down there in that middle as you can cut down and run through it.
Yeah.
as Butterfield is going for second place now on Duranko.
Making a good run on that bottom.
Yes, he is. That's the first driver we've seen all night really making that bottom work.
He's got that wing far pulled back pretty far, so curious to how he set up his car. I would imagine he'd be really tight, but he seems to be making it work. He goes back to the top in 1 and 2, and I think he's gonna maybe attempt to follow and catch up to him and maybe do something here.
Absolutely. Well, when you stick the right rear out as far as Columbus, Ohio, apparently you can trunk that wing and still get her to turn. As right now, it's Greg Keppel here on the last lap, and it's looking like Robert Boggs is trying to get around here. And
oh, man. Tough break for Boggs.
Well, Boggs got it. He was 5th. At least that's what our thing said. Yeah, Boggs got it. He was the 5th and final transfer spot there.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, it looked like Flick had an issue.
Yep.
So good for Boggs. He'll transfer to the B main, and I believe it is 8. Transfer to the A main.
Yep. So we will have 12 cars in this B main event, and the top 8 will go to the A main as they are now gridding up. And on the pole for this 10-lap B main event is the Hunger Buster, Cale Halbert, and outside of Halbert we have Anthony Woodall. On the inside of row number 2 is Joe Howe, and outside of Howe is Brady King.
On the inside of row 3 of Jordan Eder. On his outside, Jeffrey Stewart. Row 4 on the inside, Brett Hagan, and on his outside, Turf Jesus Greg Keppel.
On the inside of row number 5 is Jason Butterfield, and outside of Butterfield we have Alan Duranko. On the inside of row number 6 is Al Denton, and rounding out tonight's B main event is Robert Boggs in the 12th position. So 10 laps, top 8 will go to the 30-lap A main event for tonight's All-Star 360 race here at Limaland, as we've got Halbert and Woodall going to bring us down for the green flag.
Those guys starting out of insurance are going to have to do a little bit of work because 10 laps goes by real fast, and it's still a fairly tacky track, so
absolutely.
They're going to have to make some moves.
Gets a great jump on the start. Oh, and Hal slides up, and that's going to collect King, and we've got all kinds of chaos in the back there as it looks like Duranko gets caught up. Hal gets caught up. Oh, man, tough break for those guys there in the back.
Cale's showing him how to do it out front.
Absolutely.
Got a nice gap.
He's got a nice gap over second place, and he's running right through the middle of the slick in 3 and 4, and he's still pulling away.
Yeah, I might have to check him out at the race. There might be some traction control. I'm not sure how that works, but he's making it work, so.
Hey, he might be doping his tires, too. You never know.
Yeah. Everybody behind him is just kind of running those marbles up top, and they got nothing for him.
No, they don't. Heilbolt just right through the middle, and he is definitely the fastest car on the track as he is slowly pulling away from everybody. But back in that 8th and final transfer spot, we've got Greg Keppel. He was able to make his way through the carnage, and right now he's got the final transfer to tonight's A-main event, and he's got a pretty decent gap over the car behind him. So if he can hold on, he'll be able to make it to tonight's feature.
Yeah, he's ripping that top fairly well, but one mistake could allow the guys behind him to catch up. And
yeah, or one mistake in front of them. These guys are racing like there's no tomorrow right now.
It looks like Butterfield got caught up in something. He's going to fall back.
Yes, and now Butterfield's in that 8th and final transfer spot. As we've just got a couple laps left to go here as Heilbolt takes the white flag, and he has got himself a 1.5 second lead over second place Anthony Woodall, so he is going to bring home the win here in tonight's B main event, and he'll be followed by Anthony Woodall, Brent Hagan, Joe Howe, Brady King, Jordan Eder, Greg Keppel, and Jason Butterfield will bring home that 8th and final transfer spot. So tonight's 30-lap A main event is set, as we will see 24 cars here in the NARC All-Stars presented by the School of Sim Racing take to this track here at Limaland for tonight's feature event. So, Justin, we've seen the track. It's still pretty tacky. How do you think it's going to shape up for tonight's race as these guys put some laps on this thing with all 24 cars out there?
I think a lot of those guys are going to go to the middle. They watch Kale, and the guys behind him were running the top. They were not able to have anything for him. So I think a lot of the guys at the beginning will try the middle and maybe go to the bottom and, see what they could do. It's going to be tough to pass, short track, and it's still very tacky. So it'll be tough for those guys very far in the back.
Yeah, I think it will be. You're absolutely right. We normally see this track go up to the cushion, and it's usually, kind of a one groove track, and then when it gets really slick, we'll see the bottom come in, and right now it's looking like it's just right through the middle. Like, that's the line. Even running through the slick, Heilbuilt was the fastest car on the track, and it wasn't even close. So it's going to be interesting to see if this track will change a whole lot, and if so, how it changes during the 30 laps in this feature event.
Yeah, I believe with this new tire model, I think it's definitely favored momentum over, really getting that grip. So it'll be interesting the way who's going to be, where people are going to be running, where the fast guys are going to be running. I'm sure some of these fast guys will probably try the top, knowing that's the comfort zone for some of these guys. And if it works out, then, we'll see. It'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right on that. This new tire model, one of the things that I actually do really like about it is it does reward those who can maintain their momentum. That consistency of, being able to be within a tenth or a tenth and a half lap after lap. It rewards those drivers. And to me, that's the way it should be. If you go to a real life sprint car race, it's all about momentum. You see it all the time where someone will make one bobble and the next thing you know, they get passed. And you gotta build up that run. You don't just, gain a straightaway on somebody and then pass them, because you found some mythical slider line through the middle of the track. So it's actually, made the racing a lot more tight. It has made it harder to pass, but I think overall it's provided for a lot better and a lot more exciting racing when we get the wing cars on the track.
Absolutely. Just an example, Brandon Garman, he was, I believe, fourth in the All-Star race last week, and he was running the bottom where the top three were running the top, and those top three guys weren't really pulling away all too much. So it just shows if you could run your line really well, you could stay with those guys.
Absolutely. A couple weeks ago at Cedar Lake when I raced, I was able to go from 10th or 11th and get it on the podium, and I was running through the middle of the track, and Cedar Lake turns into an ice skating rink when it gets slick. So if you can maintain that traction and keep your consistency, you'll be able to find yourself up towards the front. So starting on the pole for tonight's 30 lap A main event, we have Timothy Alton, and outside of Alton we have Brandon Surratt. On the inside of row number 2 is Jake Sonntag, and outside of Sonntag is Christian McCartney.
In row 3 we have Jared Culbertson, and on the outside we have Jeremy Weigel. And on the inside of row 4, we have Ryan Washox, last week's winner, and on his outside, Philip Groesch.
In number 9, we have Connor Dudek, and outside of him is Joshua Berkey. Then in the 11th position is Brandon Garman, and outside of him is Bruce Klingen.
And on the inside, in 13th, Brandon Voiles, and on his outside, it'll be Mace Germain, and behind those guys, it'll be Kevin Grettenberger, and on his outside, Kurt Ney.
And then followed by him are B-main transfers. And we are under green as Alton jumps out to the lead early on in the race as he has got Sonntag, Surratt, and McCartney all close behind him as Sonntag looks to the inside, and he's making that inside middle line work, and already we have a caution on the speedway.
Don't believe Jake's going to get that position, so he's going to have to try once again after this restart to capitalize. And one thing to mention, Tim Alton was leading this race, and I think started on pole at the same exact race the last season, the All Stars, and unfortunately just got in his head and hit the wall. So I think he's going to be looking for redemption this race tonight.
Well, hopefully he has a strong finish tonight. You know, I've been in that situation before where you're leading a race and you make a mistake, and it 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 makes it a really, really rewarding thing when you can go back to that track and do good again. I remember a couple seasons ago leading 29 and a half laps at Kokomo and blowing it on the last lap, and then the next time I went back there, I didn't win, but still able to run up front and not screw up. And when you can do that,
Absolutely.
it definitely makes it a lot better. So we'll see if Alton can redeem himself for last season. As we are back under green, and he heads right up to the top again, and Sonatek looks to be inside it. Sonatek's got that inside line working.
Yeah, he's working it really well. Turns 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. It's working really well for him, and at the moment, he's in front of him with the position.
And he's going to get the pass as Jake Sonatek is now our new leader here on lap number 5, but we have a long way to go, and we have a caution on the track once again.
It looks like Butterfield must have got up in that. Take a look. Yeah, Butterfield just had a netcode scenario with Brett Hagan. He just clipped his left rear, and it just sent him turn around. Doesn't look like he has too much damage. No one, uh, everybody merely missed him, so he'll be able to restart with a good car. Hopefully, it may come back.
Hopefully, and remember, we no longer have the fast repairs here, so if you break, you are stuck with that thing for the rest of the night. So hopefully he did not suffer too much damage in that contact there.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Tim start go to the bottom, because I think he might have gotten freight trained if that caution didn't come out. Those people behind him were coming real quick, so might see him go to the bottom and see how this race plays out.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting to see if that top comes back in tonight, as Sonatek leads us down to the green, and he gets a great jump over Alton, McCartney, Surratt, and Culbertson, your top 5.
Tim's still trying that top side.
Now he's got pressure from McCartney, as it looks like McCartney's now going to get the pass on Alton. Is Alton still sticking with that cushion, but it looks like the majority of the cars are going to the bottom now.
Yeah, 1 and 2, it looks like it hurts him a lot. Oh, we have a caution on the front stretch. We have cars all over the place. Yeah, Mace just got super sideways, and I believe that's yeah, Grettenberger just had nowhere to go, and it collected him, and Grettenberger is on his side, so he'll have to tow, and Mace as well is on his side, so those guys will be outdone for the night.
Yeah, tough break for Grettenberger and Germain, as that will end their nights here after that wreck there on the front stretch. But really quick through the field, it's Jake Sonatek, your leader, followed by Christian McCartney, Timothy Alton, Jared Culbertson, Brandon Surratt, Ryan Washock, Jeremy Weigel, Connor Dudek, Brandon Garman, your top 10. So, pace truck is off, and we are under green once again, and Sonatek gets another good jump, and he heads right to the bottom, and once again, our former pole sitter Alton goes to the top, and we got another caution on the speedway.
Tough night for some of these guys. It is a tough track, and it's tight, so.
Yes, it is, and I'm hoping right now that that little bump did not damage the leader, Jake Sonatek's car.
Yeah, Brandon Boyles was caught up in that. Looks like Joe Howe as well. Yeah, on the restart, Boyles just got sideways, and it looks like actually Anthony Woodhall kind of got net coded him and turned him around. And Joe Howe got a collected in that, but I believe Joe Howe will continue, and Anthony will also continue.
All right, so we are on lap number 9 here of 30 as Jake Sonntag is still your leader, followed by Christian McCartney, Tim Alton, Jared Culbertson, and Brandon Surratt rounding out the top 5. So far we have seen Alton sticking to that top. He will not give up that line, and we've seen cars getting a run on him and getting around him. We'll have to see if that bottom continues to be fast or if it goes away. Sonntag gets another great jump on the pack here on this restart. That time Alton went to the bottom and then is quickly going back up to the top there in 3 and 4.
Yeah, he could be just waiting it out and waiting until it comes in and getting away from these guys, but so far it's not looking like it's going his way, and he might have to change things up a little bit. He might have also sold out for the top of the setup, so it just depends on what he's got going on.
Yeah, and that could be the case. I've been in that situation before where you think something's going to happen and then you sell out for it and then you just have to ride or die with it. So he is fighting back there on the top. And, one thing that can potentially happen, we see it happen all the time, is when you've got that many cars running on the bottom, it could definitely go away really, really quick. So we'll see if that top comes back in for Timothy Alton, our pole sitter of tonight's race. But back up front is Jake Sonntag, and he's now feeling the pressure from Christian McCartney, as McCartney is 0.3 of a second. He is all over Sonntag's back bumper there, looking for that top spot here in the night's A main event.
Yeah, Jake's sliding up to a little tacky patch in 3 and 4, and McCartney looks like he's sticking way to the bottom, and maybe not that corner, but we'll have to see. That'll, I think, really show what will benefit you, whether it's momentum or, getting that grip. And,
yeah, exactly. They're both got a little bit of a different line there, especially when it comes to their exit. You can see where Jake is letting that thing drift up just a little bit more as McCartney's now looking to the inside. Oh, and there's some, looked like net code right there.
Yeah.
There definitely looked to be a couple feet of space in between them, and Jake just got the raw end of that deal.
Absolutely, that's tough for him.
And that's going to give Christian McCartney the lead. But just as we say that, Timothy Alton is now coming back on the top. It looks like that top might be coming back as now Sonntag moves up to it, looking to see if he can find something else on the track to be able to run down that leader.
Yeah, it's definitely coming in. I think that bottom's slowly starting to wear out, and we'll have to see how long McCartney can maintain this while a lot of those guys are running that top. He's more the lone soldier besides, Culbertson. I believe Weigel is down there as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, back in the pack, you've got Surratt, Dudek, Weigel, all of them up on the cushion right now as Dudek slides up there and Weigel looking to get around him.
Oh, they're going about damn near 4 wide right there.
As you've got a battle going on here for the 5th place position. As Surratt, Dudek, Weigel, and Washocker all right there with each other, battling it out, and we've got another caution on the track. And this is going to make it interesting because we're now on lap 24. We've been seeing the bottom start to go away, people moving up to the top, and McCartney has been on the bottom. He has not left that line. It'll be interesting to see if he sticks with it and if that'll open the door for Sonntag to get around him on the top now.
Yeah, it's a tough thing about being the leader. I mean, you can't, depending if you're running the mirror or not, you don't really know what they're running behind you, so you're just kind of praying that it continues to work, but at the same time you kind of know a line's going to go away eventually, so you have to think if he's going to end up moving around or if he's just going to stay there. It looks like with these guys, they're closing up, but I think the top can be at least competitive with the bottom, so it'll be interesting to see what these guys can do.
Yeah, it will. It'll be really interesting to see here as we're going to have just 6 laps to go as we are now back under green, and McCartney gets a little looser on the start. That allows Sonatag to stay close. Sonatag goes to the bottom, followed by Culbertson with Alton up there on the top. Sonatag goes up high, but it looks like he's not going to be able to catch him there. We've got just 5 laps to go here in tonight's A main event.
Yeah, it just seems like that bottom is just too fast right now, and with only about 4 laps to go, it might not fall away quick enough.
We got a big wreck there in turn number 1, and it looks like there's going to be a caution on the track.
Oh yeah, that was between Washhawk, Dudek, and Brandon Garmin. I'm taking a look back at my view, and yeah, Dudek hits the wall, gets loose, and taps the wall in the front stretch, and it kind of shoots him down the track a little bit. Ryan was there, and he tapped him, and then Ryan's car darted towards Brandon, and then there's just all hell from there. So tough break for those guys, all running in pretty good positions for points. So they're gonna have to do well for these next couple of weeks if they want to get up in there in the points.
Yeah, absolutely. These tracks are definitely treacherous when you got this many cars on it and the track is slicking off like this. You got to be careful, and when you're going that fast, if someone makes a mistake, you can get collected in it really, really quickly.
Absolutely. Just got to stay on your feet. Cannot take out of focus, otherwise they'll catch you slipping.
All right, we are back under green. With just 3 laps to go, it's McCartney over Sonatag, Culbertson, Alton, and Surratt. And there are battles happening all over the track right now.
A great battle for this podium spot. Tim Alton on the top, Jared on the more so the middle, and it looks like he got a little bit loose there, allowing Tim to get by. But with the
back up front, it is all Christian McCartney as he gets the win here in tonight's NARC All-Star Series, followed by Jake Sonatag, and it looks like Timothy Alton will get that 3rd and final podium spot. So, heck of a run tonight for Christian McCartney. Started up towards the front, was able to make a couple of good passes there and bring home the win in tonight's feature event. So, the final rundown for tonight's NARC All-Stars 30-lap A main event. We've got Christian McCartney, your winner, followed by Jake Sonatag and Timothy Alton rounding out the podium. And then we've got Jared Culbertson, Brandon Surratt, Ryan Washok, Jeremy Weigel, Anthony Woodall, Bruce Klingen, and Kurt Ney rounding out the top 10. Then it's Keppel, Eder, Berkey, Hagen, Croach, Butterfield, Halbut, Brady King, Joe Howe, Brandon Garmin, Connor Dudek, Brandon Boyles, Mace Germain, and Kevin Grettenberger. So, awesome run tonight for McCartney, Sonatag, and Alton. We'll have to hopefully see if we can get these guys with us here in the booth. But before we do, Justin, final thoughts on what you saw out of Christian McCartney tonight?
He ran a really good race. He made the pass early, and it was able to pull out a nice lead, and he had pretty good restarts. And even when he had, I think he believed he messed up one restart, but was able to capitalize and keep that position. So he just ran a near perfect race tonight.
Yes, he did. All right, so we've got, it looks like our race winner, Christian McCartney, is joining us here in the booth. Christian, Tommy, Justin are here. You got a copy?
Copy. Hey, guys.
Hey, man, heck of a run tonight. You had that bottom working. You were able to make that pass around Jake Sonatag there for the lead. What was your plan going into tonight's feature?
Well, first I want to give it to Jake because he didn't make it easy. That's for certain. Yeah, the plan was to to try to run the bottom. We ran the ignition NARC crossover race there earlier tonight, and the bottom came in, but the top was fast too. So I tweaked my setup just a little bit to get a little bit more rotation in the center, and I think that that really gave the bottom just a little bit of an edge.
Absolutely. Yeah, you had a very good race and made a little bit of contact with Jake, but on our end, it looked like net code. So I think no harm, no foul. And both of you ran a great race. For the late race restarts, you had the bottom rolling all night long. Did you ever think, maybe try something else? I don't know if you have the mirror or the relative showing up, but you ever think you might have to change the line because you were running all night and, lines change over the night. So did you ever think of trying something else?
Yeah, well, that's kind of what I did a couple weeks ago at Cedar Lake, and I got burned on it. So I thought twice a little bit about that under caution, and I thought if the bottom's rolling, stick with it until they're right on me, kind of thing. So, but yeah, as I saw, I was able to pull away. I stuck with what was working.
Well, you definitely stuck with what was working, and you had a heck of a finish tonight, man, bringing home the win. Before we let you go, do you got any friends, family, sponsors that you want to give a thanks to?
Yes, the SSR Insider Program. Again, learning a lot from that, setup wise, driving lines. Definitely paying off with these races, and especially since the new tire model. So that program has been really instrumental to my finishes. I want to thank my family again for their support, and also my fiance for her support as well, and letting me do this on Tuesday nights.
All right, man. Well, thank you very much. Heck of a run tonight. That is your winner, Christian McCartney. Christian, hope to talk to you again next week, and have a good one.
Yes, you guys too. Have a good evening.
See ya.
All right, so that was your race winner, Christian McCartney, as we are now joined in the booth by tonight's second place finisher, Jake Sonatag. Jake, you got a copy?
Yep.
Jake, you had a heck of a run going there. You jumped out to an early lead, getting that pass on Tim Alton, and you had a good line running through the middle there. You got it past there towards about the halfway point. What was your plan for tonight's race, and then what were you trying to do to try to catch up with McCartney there towards the end?
Towards the end there, I was just trying to search around the track, trying to figure out where to run, but he was just too fast. He had that bottom line working good like I did early on in the race, but it started going away halfway through the race. It started getting more slick, so once he got ahead of me there, looked like we had a little net code issue there, but I started running the top a little bit, trying to gain ground, but that line that he was running was just, he was consistent at it, so.
Yeah, he was very fast, and I was curious. Did you how did you set up your car tonight? Did you know it was gonna be like on the bottom, or did you set it up for maybe running both just in case the top came in or bottom came in, whatever the scenario was? Um, what did you set up your car for?
Basically, I just set it up for both. I mean, I started on the bottom, so I figured I'd start on the bottom, and that happened to be really quick. I mean, I went from third to first, right, basically in the first few laps. So, um, but I felt comfortable on the bottom, and then it started going away once Christian passed me. So I ran the top, and that felt comfortable too. I mean, the car felt really good tonight.
Well, you definitely look good bringing home the second place finish tonight here in tonight's 30 lap A main event. Before we let you go there, Jake, you got any friends, family, or sponsors you want to thank?
I want to thank the SSR community and um, Team SSR and SSR Elite for helping me out with the setups and uh, just getting in the practice to figure this new tire model out on the sprints. I've been struggling at it, but hopefully this is a step in the right direction.
Well, it definitely looks like it is, man. A heck of a run tonight, bringing home second place. Jake, hope to talk to you next week. Thank you very much, and have a good one.
You too, thanks.
Great, buddy.
All right, so that was Jake Sonatag, your second place finisher, as we now got tonight's third place finisher, Timothy Alton. Tim, you there?
Yes, I am. Thank you.
All right, man, you had a heck of a start to the night with that last lap pass on the for the win in your heat race, which gave you the pole in tonight's feature. What was your plan going into the feature tonight?
I was committed to the top, as you saw, and this seems like the new tire model. The top isn't the dominant spot here all the time, so I finished third.
Yeah, that's a good finish as well. I know last season you did start pole of this race, I believe, and then just one mistake and that was it. But yeah, so you're committed to the top. Was that something you in practice that was really fast, or maybe a race you ran previously? The fast line was the top.
Yeah, we've been practicing around the top all day today to get the car going and change a couple of gears, get it set in, and it was working. Coming out of 4, cutting down a bit, a little heavy on the gas a couple times. I lost a spot, but got past, finished third. Pretty proud of that.
Well, overall, anytime you can get a podium finish, man, that is a good night, especially in this league. So, heck of a run tonight for you, Tim. Before we let you go, do you have any friends, family, sponsors you want to thank?
Absolutely, I've got a racing buddy, Ryan Washok. Him and I been spending thousands of laps together lately, and we seem to be doing all right together. I'd like to thank Vanity Hair and Rito Raingutter. As always, it's a pleasure to be in the NARC League, and 2 Canadians in top 3. That's pretty good for Canada. And I want to thank ESRN for putting us on, and NARC for doing, and you guys too.
All right. Well, thank you very much, my man. Heck of a night tonight for you, and hope to talk to you next week.
I hope so too. Have a great night.
Hey, you too.
Have a good one.
Thanks, guys.
All right, so that was your top 3 for tonight. McCartney, Sonatag, and Alton rounding out the podium. And one last time through the running order, we've got Culbertson and Surt rounding out the top 5 with Washok, Weigel, Woodall, Klingen, and Ney, your top 10. And then it's Keppel, Eder, Berkey, Hagen, Croach, Butterfield, Heibult, King, Howe, Garmin, Dudek, Voiles, Germain, and Grettenberger. So, heck of a race here tonight for the NARC 360 All-Star Sprint Cars presented by School of Sim Racing. Before we go, any last thoughts you got there, Justin?
I mean, it was a great race overall. I mean, it was more so just a bottom kind of track, but it looked like it near the end. If you got the top working, you could at least maintain. But other than that, it was a good race. Fair amount of passes, and these guys got some great racing going on.
Yes, they did. It was an excellent night of racing overall, and we will be back next Tuesday night to do it all over again. So until then, as always, my name is Thomas Brandon, and this is Justin Sherman joining me in the booth. Thank you very much for being here tonight, Shermanator.
Absolutely.
And
Happy
until
to be
next
here.
week, that's right. As always, good luck.